Hello, and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker, and I'm your host. And on this show, we are looking to have experts and business leaders who are really helping you to think and act more strategically, to really collapse time, so to speak, even though it's not possible. But by working smarter, we really can have more time to do the things that are most important to us and to reach our goals faster. And today, Stacey Lievens is here, and she is a dear friend, an awesome person, which you'll get to find out not just from her herself, but she also has recently done a really awesome video that she'll tell you about that will be launched, and you'll get to know a little bit about her personally. But she is an acclaimed master craftsman photographer, author, and personal branding expert, and she supports online entrepreneurs to become the face of their brand. She has over 30 years of photography experience as well as being a formal model. She brings both an eye for detail and heart-centered focus to transforming the image, the confidence, and the brand of her clientele. And now she's doing that in a whole new way with the Proof, which is super exciting. And she's going to tell you all about that and all the rest of it. So Stacey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Penny. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. And sorry, I outed you with that you just did your own Proof and it's going to be up online and you're going to have to share it with everyone.
Oh, I'm excited. I love how it's turning out. Yeah, it's really great. It's still in production, but I'm really proud of it. I'm so glad I pushed myself. And, I feel like I'm now like the plumber without the leaky pipes, right? So I actually drank my own Kool-Aid and I got on the stage. I'm so proud of myself. It's really good.
That's exciting. Let's back up a little bit and understand why, you're in, let's say, a version of personal branding, which has evolved right into a whole different thing. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But, when we're talking about taking back time and we're talking about people growing their businesses, why is that important to build a personal brand?
Oh my gosh, because honestly, if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you think they're buying your services, but actually they're buying you because there's a lot of competition out there. What's going to separate you from your competition, especially if you have a one-on-one service or you're really doing personal coaching or training? They're buying the personality. They're buying the trust factor. What better way to introduce yourself to people than to really kind of tear away the layers and take off the facade of all the letters behind your name and let's just hack the credibility issue a little bit, right? Let's just go down and say, this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. And we found with so many of our people that it really goes back to even a little something that happened in their childhood that gave them the spark that made them want to really go full out, play full out and do it and be an entrepreneur. We're kind of crazy.
So attracted to that, right? I mean, there's so much more attracted to your authentic self and why you're doing what you're doing versus all the letters after your name. I would totally agree. I want to feel when I'm working with someone that I really connect with who they are and that I can relate with them, not just that they're this super guru.
And it's interesting because we deal with a lot of personal transformation, personal coaches, things like that. And they found that even their own story makes them credible. They've gone through the trenches. They've hit the walls. They've hit the hard times. And really, I think if anybody's going to hire someone to help them get out of the trenches, why not go to someone who's already been through it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we love to do is kind of excavate those stories and put that, up front. Why hide from it?
Absolutely. So what's the why behind this why?
Right. Well, the why behind the Proof why is my husband, Dan, who really was the genesis for this whole movement that we've created. He was so frustrated working with tons of entrepreneurs for the past 20 years, working in incubators, working in co-working spaces, doing, counseling for small businesses for decades, seeing them hit a wall, especially when it comes to this whole digital age and trying to make noise in a very crazy, polluted digital age here. Right. How are you going to stand out against cats on Facebook? Right? How are you going to stand out against the AT&T budgets? Right?
Right.
Why not create a platform? And the platform that we created is called The Proof, where we encourage entrepreneurs and wannabe thought leaders to actually put their heart and soul on a stage. share it with the world, and tell people why they do what they do.
And just open up, right? And
open up. Yeah. In fact, our three,
hard, isn't it? I mean, not just to open up, but to even know what it is that's there to the why. Like, it takes some digging to really understand where it came from.
It really does. And we have a signature process that walks them through that. It's about a 2-hour process that you get on the phone with us, like a Zoom call. And we really excavate your history and really capture the through line of why you do what you do. So when you get on stage, we have a trick. You're not allowed to talk about what you do.
Right.
Not allowed to mention it. Only why you do it. After you do your 3-minute proof talk, we have a little interview that talks about, how your why is now manifested in the world, and we can talk about what you do. But if you really come from it that way, can you really explain what you do in the world by not saying what you do in the world, but only talk about the why? That's a whole different twist that we're trying to bring forth.
Right. And what how much more attractive when you're networking, that you're not just saying what you do, that you're really maybe making a more heartfelt connection, because you can talk about why you're doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. And it was so fun for me. I just came back from a huge convention in Dallas this last week, and I met over 800 women, entrepreneurs. And I usually start my, 30-second elevator pitch, right, with what I do. And I had that down, right? I had that down.
Right.
But after giving my proof talk, I started sharing my story of when I was a little kid. And, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But there's a little story about, how do I say, I have this Catholic little girl that decided to wear a bright yellow First Communion dress as opposed to the white ones, right? So there's a little fun story attached to that, but I shared that story with so many people and up and down the halls of this convention. And so I became known as, oh yeah, you're the one with the yellow dress. So
right. But they remember you.
Oh my gosh. It paints such a cute visual, right? And it's, it wasn't a big tragic story or anything, but it was just something that really painted a picture in their mind, and they can see why I'm so passionate about what I do.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, see, and now I can't even ask you that, because you're saying you're going to save it so that they can see it later. So,
I can share a little bit more.
Just give us the without telling the whole story and divulging that. What was the key message or the key learning that you got from your process?
Sure. It's, it surprised me, and I knew what to expect. Right. So when my husband sat me down and put me through the process that he puts through, hundreds of people, I try to just show up what we say. We show up spiritually naked. We've had people that walk into our process and say, yeah, I know my why. We're like, you think you know your why. Right. We're going to dig and find the story that you've never told anybody else. And we're going to give you a reason to share that with the world. And we're going to make sense of it. Right. So when my husband pulled out this story about my childhood and how I just was given this space to comfortably stand out in the world. And I wasn't even trying to stand out. I was just really trying to match my devotion to Jesus with a beautiful dress. And so my heart led me to choose this beautiful dress, right? This bright yellow, as I say in my talk, I look like Big Bird in a sea of marshmallows, right? So taking the innocence of this child and being brave enough to stand in there and say, this is how I want to marry Jesus, right? For the cute little Catholic girl. How that manifests coming forward is that I've been trying to help people fly their own freak flag for years as part of personal branding. Why would I want to make anybody else look the same, right? So It's so fun that's what I was so attracted to all in my, in my teenage years and in my 20s, and how I chose the career I'm in now is because I really care that people try to dig into their heart and match their devotion to what they do and stand out.
It's so powerful. It just is. I mean, to really dig down and understand what you stand for and why you stand for it, and be able to declare it at the end, right? Then now, like, there's no going back, right? You are even more, I would imagine. Like, do you find yourself, now that you did your proof and you went through this process, Do you find yourself even more passionate and driven in that area?
Oh yeah, it just makes sense. I don't know if any of you have ever felt stuck in what you're doing.
No, nobody on the show has ever felt stuck. Nope.
Or you just feel like sometimes you wake up and you question, oh my God, what am I doing? You know?
Every day.
Right?
That's not
Right.
true.
No, I mean, there's moments. We have moments.
Sure, right? We're constantly, I believe, dealing with that as we have our successes and our failures and how we want to respond to that.
Exactly. So I think what's happened to me, I have found myself more in flow and I'm more kind to myself. And I realize I've been set up for this my whole life. This has been like my own little contract moving forward, that I'm exactly where I need to be in this life. And it gave me confidence. It makes me smile because honestly, a Proof Talk, we are trying to be this hub of inspiration, this portal where you can go get inspiration. And we really help you try to be that thought leader, right? That can give a piece of wisdom that you've carefully curated throughout your life. Let's put that on a platform where we can share that with others.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like I've empowered myself to now inspire others to really go be who they absolutely want to be. No apologies, no copying your other mentors, no trying to just like model yourself after somebody else. It's like, no, you have a style, you have a presence, you have your own sensibility in this world. My job is to help you find that and, carefully craft it into a brand. So I feel like I have more drive and passion now that I've done my own Proof Talk.
So coming back to sort of the time element, and focus. So, with that more passion and drive, do you find yourself, when you said in the flow, so do you find yourself less distracted and more focused on what's most important to you?
Yeah. And you know what's more interesting? I feel like the copy is just dripping out of me now. Like when I sit down to write copy, it's like, it's just flowing. I feel like I'm more connected to what I'm meant to do in the world. So the words I'm choosing, the way it's landing is just more congruent. And I'm like nonstop. It feels great. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it's, I often talk about in some of my talks about the difference between, we all have 24 hours a day, and there's a difference between those days that you feel like you're in the flow. Like you said, everything just comes out and works and it gets done and you're on to the next and so forth. And, and I always ask the audience, so what is that, 95% of the time? And everybody laughs like, oh, right? And then it's like, okay, well, who's had a day that's like death by 1,000 paper cuts and you were distracted and disturbed and got nothing done, on your agenda all day, right? And what percentage of the day is that? And it's the same number of hours that we have both of those days. So what's the difference? And you mentioned it. What do you think the difference is in terms of really being focused and being able to block out distractions?
Honestly, I have to hack it myself. I have to set my calendar. So when Dan and I have specific duties we need to do, and I work with my husband, we work together. We will block out the calendar. We will say, like yesterday, we blocked out between 12:30 and 1:30 content calendar. And so we knew to stop everything and work on our content calendar. And so for me, it seems like really managing the time and being very smart about it and just giving yourself that specific time block, not moving it up, not moving it back, just start and stop 12:30 to 1:30, boom. And
stay on schedule. That's
stay on schedule.
Stay on schedule. And I guess I was trying to link it also to the fact that when you're connected to what you stand for, you do stay more focused because you don't care about the squirrel that goes out there, right?
Absolutely.
So that you can stay on time, because in that hour you're connected, you can be more purposeful. And like you said, and once you put it into action by blocking it and making sure that you know what you're going to be doing when, right? That's the flow, is being able to combine all of those things together.
Yes, absolute congruency will give you, and the congruency will give you structure, and that gives you freedom. So one of my mentors always said, structure gives you freedom. And I'm a huge advocate for that. So
absolutely.
yeah.
I agree. And, you know, and
focus.
and then maybe they say that to you too. Oh, you're so structured. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm structured because I have to be, because I'm the first to go squirrel, you know, I've got a window right here by me. And if I'm not really focused, I can easily be, you know, drawn into so many different directions.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you know that you're really doing what you're meant to be doing in the world, and hey, over the past 30 years, I've questioned myself, definitely. And so when you know that you're really on target, it gives you a reason to wake up in the morning and to get focused and to get, you know, add that bits of structure that are going to support your business.
Totally. So, you know, people might be wondering, so, you know, the proof sounds like a TED talk. Like, tell us the difference between the proof and where you're going with the proof and TED.
Sure. We get compared to TED all the time. And honestly, I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. What a platform.
Yeah, it's a different platform. We are, of course, we want to be inspiring like TED is, but we also want to be consumable. So we are in little nuggets, little 3-minute nuggets of inspirational talks, and we have a specific platform that we use for that. So it's a formula. I'm sorry, just missed the word. We have a formula for our proof talks. So all of them start a certain way and end a certain way. So at the end, there's always a gift for the audience. So these 3 minutes specifically focus on the why behind the what. Mm-hmm. So TED is the big idea, right? The big idea we're sharing. We're the why behind the person who had the big idea.
Right. Makes sense.
So why was this person so passionate about what they talk about? Wouldn't that be interesting? Right? What happened to them in their childhood, or a defining moment or a loss or a win in their life that made a difference that they can now share and be inspirational, but do it in a way that you can hear it in just a few minutes, right? So our goal is, when you're scrolling through social and you see our signature brick background, and you see someone standing on that stage, you go, oh, wait a minute, there's a proof talk. I've got 3 minutes. Let's get inspired.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
So who's your target audience? Who's somebody who is best suited for a proof talk?
Yeah, our target is entrepreneurs and aspiring thought leaders. So the reason why I add aspiring thought leaders is because we're having some people that just want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
They're retired. They're not interested in plugging a business, but they just want to say something out in the world.
Yeah.
So and I call them thought leaders, like I would call anybody else, because they have a thought, and what they can share and give to the world, that's leadership. Being willing to stand on a stage, grab a microphone, and share what's in your heart, that's leadership.
I agree. And, you know, I don't remember whether we shared this before, because, you know, we mastermind together and do different things. But I could totally see this of huge value for leaders in companies, bigger companies, because they're so disconnected from the rest of, you know, they're maybe connected with the next level of management, but there's such a disconnection. And, you know, today the big discussion is about engagement and how people are disengaged. And I just wonder if the CEO and the top C-suite, if they didn't actually do something like this and provide a proof talk for, you know, that type of thing. So maybe you do it internally for companies and have them see the heart of the leaders and why building this business is important. I believe their employees would shift, you know, with some other measures. They could shift from being transactional employees and to being more in ownership. When they can really connect with the leaders at the Y level. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. And that is definitely on our radar as one of our big goals that we're going to be setting for 2020, is reaching out to these businesses, because you're right. It improves company culture. You know, it improves the mood of all employees. And I think it's great to really get to know the deep-seated why behind these people that sit up in these, you know, these C-suites.
Yeah.
Yeah. So come join Cubicle Nation and really get down and share your why with them. I agree.
Yeah. You know, I forget what the statistic is exactly, but something like 80% of people leave a company because of their manager.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. And so, it's a lack of connection. Like people are just more, when they know your heart, they're so much more open and assuming positive intent, which is everything. So, I would love to see more of that
Yes.
in organizations.
Absolutely. And as we roll out the Proof brand and as that starts getting more traction, I feel like, Penny, I'm so honored to be on this podcast with you because you're really catching us in our infancy. We're a brand new company and we've only had 6 events so far, started since February. So we feel as we grow this brand, we want it to stand for truth and authenticity. Yeah. And whenever you see that, you'll go, oh, wow, I really want to hear what they have to say because these people are getting real. Right.
Yeah. And I know you're booked out, like, for the events that you do have planned for the rest of this year and into next year. I know you're already booked out. So
yeah, we're
in your infancy, but you're going to be exploding real fast.
Thank you. We're even doing what's called pop-up proofs. So we're going to Amsterdam in October.
Fun.
And San Diego in November. And Boulder just came calling, so we may be going to Boulder next year. So yeah, we're excited to see, and we're just in flow. We just keep focusing on, what our heart's mission is to really let these people be seen, heard, and recognized. And as we stay congruent and focused, like I was saying earlier, and I stay true to helping people find their own version of a yellow dress, I stay focused on that, we're going to be open to the flow of whatever comes our way.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you think people need to know about the Proof or about, what it is that you're doing, or any tips that you could share with them that you wanted to share today?
Yeah, well, we just launched a new website, so people want to go to witnesstheproof.com. You can see and have any of the questions answered. If people want to reach out to us, of course, they can just reach us on the website. But we just really are committed to people really sharing their truth and their heart. And we want to create a really safe place for them to do that. So when people come to us, we help them craft their story. So we help them dig it. We help them craft it.
Right.
So they feel comfortable. They don't feel like they're left to their own devices. And then when they come for dress rehearsal, we let them rehearse it and feel comfortable on the stage before they even deliver it. So we have.
So it's not just for speakers and people who know how to speak. You're going to hold their hand through the whole process.
Absolutely.
So that they, whether they're a speaker already or a novice, that they're going to feel good on stage.
Absolutely. In fact, we've even had some of our novice speakers get hired as keynotes through their Proof talks. So yeah, a lot of miracles are happening all the way around. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing the Proof with everyone. And I really appreciate it. I know that this is just a piece of what you do, like, as an amazing photographer, and you have so many different skill sets, in copywriting and marketing and so many different areas. So I appreciate you sharing the Proof with us.
Oh, thank you, Penny.
And thank you all for being here, because without you, there would be no show. So we appreciate you all, and really think about, this message here today, whether you go onto the website, Witness the Proof, and connect with Stacey and sign up for your own Proof, or you just start to think about, what is your truth? What do you stand for, and why do you stand for it? It is going to help you be more focused and more directed in everything that you do. So it's absolutely worth your time to step back and really evaluate this for yourself and see how it can accelerate your success. So my name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time. We'll see you in the next episode.